What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Breaking News. 24% increase in approvals and funding for the 24 months of EIDL working capital. It is Hump Day, May the 12th, 2021. Please do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up, hashtag EIDL in the comments below. If you haven't seen the poll that I did on Twitter a couple hours ago, you're really going to want to go there at Try Small Biz. That's at Try Small Biz, because we actually have some good news, ladies and gentlemen. Always got a little bit of bad. I'm going to start with that today, but I'm going to end with a tremendous amount of good, including a friend of mine who's 3 sheets to the wind right now in Miami Beach because he got a $357,000 wire transfer from the SBA. What's the deal with this guy, as I mentioned on Twitter a couple hours ago, that just got a 6-figure loan approved with a stamped copy of his IRS tax return, no 4506T. And my buddy, Robert Dunham from Dunham Writing on Twitter, released the real funny video, Hey Schumer, where's my EIDL? Well, you can now buy a hard copy of the CD, selling it at cost. It's absolutely amazing. It's going viral. I just Googled his name right now, and I've got a Yahoo article that I'm going to pin in the top comment. I counted over 25 news outlets that are covering the story. So, ladies and gentlemen, pull up a chair, grab a cup of coffee, ice cold beer, glass of wine. Here we go. All right, in typical 2 steps forward, 1 step back fashion over the last 13 months, I want to start with some bad news because there's always some of that. But I want to share some really good news because in the last 5 days since I last ran the poll at Try Small Biz on Twitter, we're up 24% in approvals and funding. And as I just mentioned, I have a friend of mine. In fact, there are 7 people totaling over $2.1 million on this channel and over on Twitter that have emailed me screenshots and stories that you won't believe, including one that I'm going to read today about a guy who got approved with a stamped tax return. So if you're in IRS limbo, there's hope. I'm going to go through exactly what he did in the order he did it in order to get approved. But let me start with the obvious. The 800-pound gorilla in the room, pinned in the top comment once again, is last night's latest report on the Targeted EIDL Advance progress, or lack thereof. But I will say this, they're up about 25 to 30% in terms of the pace that they're going with respect to approvals and funding. So I'll let you decide, why is that? Is it because of guys like me and Speak and See and Stephen Carlson and Rod Squad and Robert Dunham, who has nonstop action on Twitter? You be the judge of that. But as of last night, 99,529 small business owners and sole props have been funded 10 grand or the balance thereof for a total of $821,067,000. The bad news, however, is they were given $30 billion. So in 112 days since it went live for the Targeted EIDL Advance on the 1st of February, they haven't even spent 5% of the money. Now, the good news is they're going 20 to 25, 30% faster than they were last week when we lit their ass on fire, but they're still, at the rate they're going, we are looking at, ladies and gentlemen, at least another month to probably 3 months to get everybody the Targeted EIDL Advance that's in a low-income community and suffered a 30% economic loss. So that's kind of the bad news. I'm constantly hammering on that on Twitter, but we must tell it like it is, right? We give praise when praise is due. We burn the house to the ground whenever that's necessary. But I have to tell you, if you look at the poll results from this afternoon at Try Small Biz, please go vote and add your comments. You're going to find that there's a 24%. Earlier, it was over 50%, but we got more people coming in. There'll be about 1,000 that'll vote before midnight tonight. So somewhere between 24 and as much as 50% increase since I did the same exact poll 5 days ago. And I'm going to read a gentleman who got a 6-figure approval with a stamped IRS tax return. So whenever you hear, my loan officer is not letting me through because I don't have my taxes done or my 4506T comes back as all zeros, there's hope. I'll share this story, but at a minimum, here's exactly what you do. If you get a prick for a loan officer, and that happens, you say the following: I have a pinned article from Miss Isabel Guzman stating, and I will get the link to that, that you can use a stamped IRS tax return that you can get from a local, what's called a TAC IRS facility. So you go in, you say, hey, I filed my taxes 6 months ago, but the IRS is not processed, so here it is. I need a stamped copy. It takes about a week, generally, depending on how busy your office is, to get you the copy. And if you do things the right way, you won't run into a problem, as this guy didn't. But if you do run in and they already pulled your 45016, and it says all zeros, or it doesn't come back for whatever reason, you tell them that Ms. Guzman already stated 3 weeks ago that you could use a stamped copy, and I have called the SBA several times in the last 3 days. About 3/4 of the Tier 2 representatives that I speak to, you can try it yourself, 800-659-2955. Say, hey, I filed my taxes 7 or 8 months ago, but the IRS, according to my 4506T, and you can check on that at irs.gov, it's not been processed yet. So if I bring a stamped copy to my loan modification to get 24 months of working capital, will the loan officers accept that? 2/3 to 3/4 will tell you yes. But unfortunately, we still have some pricks out there that either don't care or don't know that they are now taking, as of about 2.5 weeks ago, a stamped copy of your tax return. So here's my honest opinion, ladies and gentlemen, once again. I believe that 80% of you that are in low-income communities are going to get the balance of the 10 grand on the Targeted EIDL Advance in the next 30 to 60 days. I also believe that 80% of you, and a shout out to Speak and See, who I understand got his undisqualified, so he may be back in the game. So congratulations, the man certainly deserves it. He works his fucking ass off nonstop to get you guys the Targeted EIDL Advance and the full 24 months of working capital. But there's hope. I honestly believe, and if you saw as proof the video on Miss Isabel Guzman, I believe it was Yahoo Business, I commented on it a couple hours ago. She's salt of the earth. I know. There's people that are frustrated. There's people that don't think she's doing a great job. But they got about 7 or 8 balls in the air, right? You heard this morning, what is it? 21,000 restaurants got funded $2.7 billion in only 6 days. They just launched the damn fund 6 days ago, and already 21,000 have gotten a total of $2.7 billion in their checking accounts as of this morning. So they are making progress. But as she said, and I commented on that tweet as well, we've made a lot of progress, but we still have a long ways to go. And what you'll see me constantly doing, especially with Schumer, is pounding him on calling a vote on S513. Because it's a fact. 80% of you, if not more, are going to get 10 grand or the balance thereof if you're in a low-income community with a 30% economic loss. If you suffered 50, you're going to be one of the 1 million people that are going to get an extra $5,000. We already have 7 people in my inbox, one I'm about to read in a second, with over $2 million of approval and funding. And I told you, I got a friend. I was trying to tell him, just let me show you a picture of you down on Miami Beach right now with a cocktail in your hand, but he's worried that the SBA is going to think he's out spending the money on places that he shouldn't. But $357,000, saw it with my own 2 eyes. Things are starting to fall into place, but again, with respect to the SBA, it's all about timing. Whether it's a month, another 2 months, 3 months, I don't know. But again, I took an average on the 7 people that have sent me screenshots for over $2 million of loan approval for 24 months. The average time between when they applied, in all cases, it was April 6th, to when they got in touch with the loan officer, to when they went to underwriter for final approval, to when they got the loan docs a few days later, to when they got the money 7 to 10 days later. The average length of time is 32 days. So is everybody going to go 32 days from when you applied to when you got your money? Of course not. But if you were among the early applicants and all 7 applied early the first day, you got a great chance. Now, I will throw this out there. I'm a little suspicious that they're going in the order of received, because the average loan size is well over $250,000 for these people. I have yet to see anybody, and if you're out there, tell us in the comments, If you got a loan, let's say below $25,000, which is the cutoff for collateral. And if you didn't watch yesterday's video, it's a very simple form. You sign a lien. They do not check your collateral, as somebody asked me today on Twitter. You got collateral, anything over 25 up to 200,000. You go over 200,000, you're personally liable if you don't pay back the loan. So you need to be aware of all that. Watch yesterday's video. But there are people that are getting $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 approved and funded, but I haven't seen anybody of a smaller size. So I'm a little suspect that they're going in the order of received. They may be going in the order of received for the bigger, but would that surprise anybody? I mean, you remember when the PPP fat cats stole all the money last year? Is it going to surprise anybody? For example, they paid out 21,000 restaurants $2.73 billion. How come they're not paying little mom and pops the $10,000 targeted EIDL advance or a $10,000 or $15,000 loan in 24 months of working capital? You guys may have asked me a few times. If you haven't, here's an answer for you. Jason, why'd you start Small Biz Inc? Answer. I am tired after this experience of over a year of the little guy and the little gal getting shit on. I'm tired of the lack of respect that small business owners, Chuck Schumer, get in this country. So I'm going to put all I got on the line when this fucking website goes live. And I'm calling, in fact, I'm already talking to the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, etc. We are very close to blowing the lid off this story. They're digging in, but I'm going to get my ass on camera. I want the website live. I've got to get our logos and our social media pages up before I go guns a-blazing. But I'm going to dedicate probably the rest of my life fighting on your behalf. I don't care if you got 499 employees or one, which is the vast majority of you, between 1 and 10. It's time you get some fucking respect. I'm tired of the top 1% controlling all the money and the wealth in this fucking world, so I'm going to fight for the middle class. Our great retired and disabled veterans, our single moms and dads, our minorities, our blacks, our browns, our gays, our straights, our Asians, our Hispanics. I'm getting behind all of you. I'm going to get you the rights, the love, the support that you deserve. And yeah, I'm going to help grow your small biz. All right. Before I go on any further I'm fired up today, ladies and gentlemen. Let me quickly get to the LinkedIn story. This is a guy who got a 6-figure loan with an IRS stamped tax return, not a 4506T. He was very proactive. So pay attention to what I'm going to tell you. Jason, I don't have Twitter or Facebook, but I wanted to share some info on your last video that we were approved, verifying our bank info, avoided check, that's what's often asked front and back, updated resolution, your corporate papers, and proof of BOP, which is your business insurance. That's the hazard insurance. You can get $1 million for around $500 or $600 a year. Almost everybody sells it. That was it. He says, additionally, the only point of contact was an email from his loan officer requesting that information. It only took 2 days to turn around. So when he supplied all this information, and I'm going to go into detail in terms of the order, it only took 2 days to hear back from legal, which is it's underwriting. So you got your loan officer that's gathering all the data, all the documents. When they say check, 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 they send it off. He got approved 2 days after that. He should be getting funding based on the 7 to 10 day window that we've seen in almost everybody else recently, sometime later this week, early next. All right, here's what's important to keep in mind. I asked him, so you got approved on a stamped 2019 tax return and not a 4506T because you hadn't done your taxes? He says, that's correct. And just to make sure, before I responded to the loan officer, and this is important, on the info he requested, I logged in to check all his transcripts with the IRS, and all that were available for 2019 was a, quote, affidavit of non-filing. So here's the deal, folks. The email address to request the loan is COVID EIDL increase requests at SBA.gov. He went to a local IRS center, got a stamped copy. It took him 7 days. So here's the timeline. I visited the tax center, that's the IRS center, on 4/22, April 22nd, and provided the 2019 stamp copy on 4/28. So it takes about a week. I've heard some people get it in 5 days, some in 8. So about a week after visiting the IRS center. The email from the loan officer showed up on May the 7th. Now again, he actually attached his stamped copy, and I'm going to read what he said in an email as I pull it down, when he sent the email to COVID EIDL increase request. Now, for most of you, you've already sent that email, but he was proactive when he sent the email. He said, is a copy of my stamped 2019 taxes. Let me know if you need any more information. So being proactive helps. But again, if you get a prick who is not acknowledging, you call up or I'm going to find the link to the article where they're admitting they're taking the stamped copies. He goes on to say, there were no tricks outside of emailing COVID EIDL increase request email stating, quote, this is what he said in the email, the initial. I'm attaching a received copy of my 2019 returns. As of the date of this email, the IRS has not shown my returns as processed. Please let me know if you need any additional information. What's important here too is he doesn't offer anything more than that's required. He knew that he did not have his taxes done, not his fault, the IRS. So he goes down to a center. A week later, he gets a copy of the stamped 2019 taxes. When he sends the email to COVID EIDL increase request at SBA, he attached it. Too late for most of you, but if you haven't done it yet, you might want to take this advice if the IRS hasn't done your taxes. So the loan officer responded back on 5/10 again with a phone call just after Mother's Day. It went to voicemail. It only took 4 days to get a copy of his application back when he sent that. And when they went to verify his stamped copy against his tax return, he had slightly overestimated, I way overestimated my 2019 revenue. So they lowered his loan amount from $500,000 to just under $470,000. He says the math was right and the loan officer was right. So look, the moral of the story is this. Do not panic. Do not get irritated. Do not give up if the IRS is fucked up and haven't done your taxes. You can use a stamped copy. Go down to a local center. If the IRS the SBA loan officer says, we're no longer taking this, say, I want to speak to your supervisor. Get your senators involved with a privacy release form if necessary. I will find the article where Ms. Guzman and 2/3 of the Tier 2 agents acknowledge, as long as you are proactive, you went down to the IRS center, the tax center, you got your stamped copy, and you offer it up. They're going to go off of that because they have to by now, as of 2.5 weeks ago. So look, don't forget, in the top copy, pinned in the top comment, I'm in a fucking rush to get this whole thing done. Robert Dunham from Dunham Writing. Hilarious song that was on YouTube. Hey, Schumer, where's my EIDL? He did a cartoon yesterday that was absolutely hilarious. I think Miss Isabel Guzman made an appearance in that. But he's selling hard copies of the CD at cost, and it's going viral. So please do me a favor after you watch this video. Go in the pinned comment, read the Yahoo article, and if you got a few bucks and you want to have some fun and support a good cause, buy a hard copy of the CD. So until next time, I hate these long videos too, but always remember, I love you guys, we're making progress, and thanks for watching.